Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, entitled The Residents of Jambudvip Offer Prayers. Text 35. The Lord, in his form of Varaha, is living in a particular section of Jambudvip. Herein, the residents of Jambudvip are continuing their prayers of love to the Lord. O Lord, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you as the gigantic person. Simply by chanting mantras, we shall be able to understand you fully. You are yajna, sacrifice, and you are the kratu, ritual. Therefore, all the ritualistic ceremonies of sacrifice are part of your transcendental body, and you are the only enjoyer of all sacrifices. Your form is composed of the transcendental goodness. You are known as Triyuga because in Kali Yuga you appear as a concealed incarnation, and because you always possess the three pairs of opulences. Yesterday we heard from His Grace Burijan Prabhu amazing realizations of the glories of Lord Varaha-Dev, the Supreme Absolute Truth, who is all attractive, possessing all beauty, appeared in this world in the form of a boar, which is generally considered to be an abominable animal. Srila Prabhupada cites from a Purana in one lecture about how a malecha, a person of very low character, he was hunting in the forest and he was attacked by a boar. And because the boar is considered the most abominable of all animals, a wild, dangerous hog. Basically, a boar is a hog with big tusks that can kill you. Hare Krishna. Wild in the forest. So this malecha, sinful man, hunting in the forest, was attacked by this boar. And as he was being stabbed by the tusks, he considered this abominable. Because a boar is simply an abominable species. So he was so disgusted, he cried out, Harama, 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 which means abominable, abominable, abominable. And he went back to Godhead. Because Harama also means, oh my dear Lord Rama. And he was not chanting with any ulterior motives. So in this material world, the boar is abominable. But when Krishna appears as a boar, he is all attractive. The greatest sages and rishis, the demigods forgot even about the beauty of their wives when they saw Lord Varaha. And do you know what the wives of the demigods look like? You do not know. If you knew, you wouldn't be here. You would be there. Their bodies, when they perspire, it smells like perfumed lotus flowers. So much beauty. But the demigods, they even forgot their wives. They were so enchanted and intoxicated by the beauty of this boar, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And just to keep things quite balanced, the demigods' wives forgot about their husbands. And you know what they look like. His eyes were like lotus flowers. And generally a boar's hairs are very bristling and ugly. But Varaha, each hair on his body was more magnificent than all beautiful things on earth. And his hooves were just shining like nectar. Infatuated, they offered prayers to the beautiful form of Lord Varaha and surrendered their lives. So in Jambudvip, the same form of Lord Varaha is residing. And herein they are offering prayers to Varaha that each one of your limbs contains all the sacrifices of the Vedas. Because the Lord's body is Satchit Ananda. It is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. The Lord, by his inconceivable potencies, can appear according to his sweet will. Burijan Prabhu describes yesterday how Swayambhuva Manu, he saw that the earth planet that he was responsible for had sunk to the bottom of the Garbhodak ocean. So he approached Brahma. Please, it's my responsibility. I have no service unless, the earth is revived. And Brahma, as powerful as he was, realized he was helpless. There was nothing he could do except pray to Lord Vishnu to save us. So when he saved, a little boar came out of his nose. What an amazing thing. Not only is he a boar, but he's born from someone's nose. Usually nice things don't come out of your nose. But in this case, the nicest person came out of someone's nose. Hare Krishna. You see, I carry this around all the time. And I make everyone disgusted, but what can I do? That's the way noses are. But Krishna, he came out of the nose of Brahma. Just small size, like a thumb. And then he grew so big. He dove into the ocean and lifted the earth. So his body is transcendental. The residents of Jambudvip are describing herein in their prayers that you appear in so many beautiful forms. You are Triyuga. And Prabhupada and the great acharyas and the Holy Scriptures describe that the Lord does not appear as a Leela avatar in the age of Kali, but he appears as Yuga avatar. And in this Yuga avatar, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Chand avatar, because he appears in the role of his own devotee to teach us how to be devotees. This is amazing, because if we study the Holy Scriptures, we'll find that there's more description of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes than most of the incarnations who are called Leela avatars. So why is he not a Leela avatar? He has so many pastimes. Vrindavan Das Thakur, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, they describe that Lord Chaitanya performs more pastimes in a moment than Ananta Shesha with his thousands of hoods can describe in the entire span of the universal creation. So many pastimes. So why he's not considered a Leela avatar? Lord Varaha-Dev, there's just one section there's just a couple chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. Kurma, there's just a few verses. Yes? They're Leela avatars. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there's volumes of books of his Leelas. And Srila Prabhupada explains herein the reason. Because Lord Chaitanya doesn't declare himself to be God. But rather, Lord Chaitanya's mission is to come in the role of a devotee of the Lord, to teach us by his words and by his example. Srila Prabhupada explained that Krishna, he taught us the science of surrender in Bhagavad Gita. All knowledge required to attain perfection is spoken by Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And Vedavyas describes the beautiful pastimes of Krishna and the great devotees of Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything's there. But in the age of Kali, people don't understand how to apply it to their lives. Therefore, Krishna is so kind. Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Prabhadayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaudatve Namaha, that he descends with all of his 6 opulences in full. Lord Chaitanya is not an amsa. He's not a plenary portion. He's the original absolute truth. Krishna himself with all opulences. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikratir Hladini Shakti Rashmat. Ekatmanavapi Bhuvi Bhava Dehabidam Gatao Tao. Radha and Krishna have appeared together in one form as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radha Bhavaduti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Krishna with the bhava, the divine love, and the molten golden complexion of Sri Radharani. That is Mahaprabhu. But he's taking the role of a devotee. Sometimes he reveals his supreme opulences. It is described that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in Sri Navadvip Dham, he was giving so much love to his devotees. And he was living as one of them. Sometimes he would touch their feet. He would honor and worship his seniors. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his life and soul was his devotees. And throughout the day and sometimes throughout the night, he would perform Nam Sankirtan with his devotees, performing the role of a sadhaka. In this age of Kali, the way of attaining love of God is chanting the holy names. Satatam kirtayanto mam. My devotee is always chanting my names. So Lord Chaitanya is always chanting Krishna's names. Although he's Krishna himself, just to teach us. But how he chanted in such ecstasy. In the mood of Srimati Radharani, the greatest of all devotees, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he would perform Sankirtan with his devotees, he would sometimes weep for 6 continuous hours. And then after weeping, he would laugh uncontrollably for 3 hours. And then he would fall unconscious for another 3 hours. And through it all, the devotees were all with their arms raised, dancing in ecstasy, loudly chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sometimes in his ecstasy he would identify with the Lord, and other times he would identify as a devotee. At one minute he would cry out, "Where is that old man, Advaitacharya, who called me from the ocean of milk to descend into this world?" And at other times, with folded hands, he would cry out, "Oh Krishna, my father. Oh Krishna, my life and soul. Oh Krishna, my only shelter, please save me." Sometimes he would be in the mood of Akrura, and he'd cry out in great feeling, "Oh Nanda Maharaj, please come with us. Come with your sons, Krishna and Balaram, to Mathura to see the glorious Dhanur Yagya." In this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sometimes was in the role of devotee, and actually, he was in the role of devotee, and on rare occasions, he revealed his true self. So in today's verse, we are reading about the glorification of Lord Varaha-Dev. And in the glorification of Lord Varaha-Dev, they are describing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this regard, there is a beautiful story in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the streets of Navadvip, happened to hear someone reading the glories of Varaha, the boar avatar. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became ecstatic and started crying out, "Boar, boar, boar! Sukha, sukha, sukha!" And he ran to the house of Murari Gupta, who was Hanuman in Sri Ram's Leela. And Murari Gupta saw Lord Chaitanya running, crying out, "Boar, boar, boar!" And he fell down to offer his obeisances. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered into Murari Gupta's temple room. And there he saw a small pot of water that was used by Murari Gupta to worship his deity. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that little pot of water to be the earth. And right in front of Murari Gupta's eyes, Lord Chaitanya began to roar with a tumultuous sound and manifested his form as Varaha-Dev, with his hooves and his tusk and his full-fledged manifestation of the boar avatar. Murari Gupta was astounded. He had not even realized that Lord Chaitanya was Krishna yet. This was his first glimpse. Murari Gupta fell to the ground offering his obeisances, and Lord Varaha-Dev said, "Murari, offer me prayers." But Murari was silent. So Lord Chaitanya said, Varaha-Dev said, "Speak, speak, offer me prayers." Murari Gupta said, "How can I offer you prayers? Who can extol your glories? Even Anantashesha with his 1,000 mouths cannot come to the end of describing your glories. Even the Vedas, which are accepted throughout the world, they cannot sufficiently describe your glories. Who am I? What do I know? My dear Lord Varaha-Dev, only you know your glories, no one else." Now this is quite significant. Only the Lord knows his own glories. Therefore, to understand God can never be according to our speculation, our sentiment, or our own realizations. Unless the Lord reveals himself, no one can know him as he is. That is why the Lord appears. That is why the Lord comes as Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, to reveal himself. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the form of Varaha-Dev, he said to Murari Gupta, "I am the Lord Boar, and I have appeared before you in my transcendental form. But the Vedas, they mock me, saying that I have no eyes no ears, no hands, no legs. And there is a sannyasi in Varanasi of the name Prakashananda. And he is continuously beating every limb of my transcendental body by his words. He is declaring that my body is an illusion. Although everything that exists is emanating from my body. Every limb of my body is composed of all the knowledge of the Vedas, all the sacrifices of the rishis. My limbs are completely pure. Anything my body touches becomes purified. It is the eternal supreme truth, my divine form. And he is saying that my body is an illusion. Therefore, I have put leprosy in his body, but he does not know it yet. Hare Krishna. He said, I have appeared as Lord Bor before you. In ancient times, I rescued the earth planet from the dark, dirty bondage it was at in the bottom of the ocean. And I have descended again at this time in this age of Kali to deliver all the residents of the earth planet through the congregational chanting of the holy names. Just as Lord Varaha-Dev went to a filthy place to rescue the earth, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came into this filthy age of Kali to rescue the residents of this earth. By giving us the prime benediction, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, the congregational chanting of the holy names. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described that those devotees of mine who are attached to the chanting of the holy name, they are so dear to me. And I will not tolerate anyone who offends my devotees. I tell you this today, Murari Gupta, in my form of Lord Varaha-Dev, that even if my own son offends or torments a devotee, I will punish him. And I will give you evidence. Long ago, when I appeared in this form of Varaha-Dev, as I lifted the earth planet, I impregnated Mother Bhumi with a child of my own. His name was Boma. And I trained him personally. He became a great king, a protector of the demigods, a protector of the Brahmins, a protector of the innocent. He had all good qualities. But due to some bad karma of its past, he fell into the association of Bana. And in that association of the Banasura, he became degraded and envious. Envious of my devotees. He tormented my devotees. And therefore, I personally severed his head from his body, although he was my own son. That is my love for my devotees. Shukadeva Goswami describes in detail this story. May I share some small remembrance? Indra, representing the devatas, approached Krishna in Dwarka with a heart full of anguish. Bhaumasura was so powerful. Right in front of Indra, he stole the sacred, priceless earrings of Indra's mother, Aditi. He stole the umbrella, the celebrated umbrella of Varuna. And the favorite place for the demigods to go on holidays is the peaks of the Mandara mountain. He occupied the peaks. He stole it from the demigods and enjoyed it himself and didn't let anyone else there. So this is very humiliating and very painful. Indra fought against Bhaumasura. Indra threw his thunderbolt against Bhaumasura, but Bhaumasura effortlessly diffused the thunderbolt of Indra, and Indra in fear went running away. And where did he run to? Krishna. And in great desperation, he prayed to Krishna. The dignity, the integrity of all of the demigods who I'm speaking on behalf of has been disturbed by this Bhaumasura. Please bring my mother's earrings back, the umbrella of Varuna, and let us once again have our holidays on Mandara mountain. He was tormenting the universe. So Krishna said, yes, I will go. Now the abode of Bhaumasura was the most fortified fort in the universe. He was a powerful person. He had created this fort in Pune and in other places of Maharashtra. We see the forts of Shivaji, yes? Chhatrapati Shivaji with big walls. And sometimes the doors have huge spikes so that elephants, if they try to ram into it, they get stabbed in the head. Very, very fortified forts. Well, they were like straw huts compared to the fort of Bhaumasura. He had layers of protection, massive mountainous rocks, and then moats with alligators and all kinds of dangerous fish and demons living in those under the water. And then he had all kinds of electric circuitry where you just get electrocuted to death if you get beyond that. And then he had phalanxes of soldiers. It was unapproachable. But Krishna boarded Garuda. And interesting enough, he took his wife Satyabhama with him, which is a very rare thing, because generally we don't see Krishna fighting demons side by side with one of his queens. Yes? Satyabhama and Krishna were sitting next to each other on Garudaji. Now, one of the reasons he brought Satyabhama is because when Bhaumasura started becoming naughty, his mother, Bhumi, she appealed to Krishna, promise me you will not punish him or kill him. Don't kill him, he's my son. So Krishna didn't want to go against Bhumi. He didn't make any promises, but he didn't want to go against Bhumi. However, Satyabhama is the origin of Bhumi. Satyabhama is the goddess of fortune. Bhumi is an expansion of Satyabhama. And Krishna understood that if Bhaumasura didn't surrender, Satyabhama would give blessings to kill him. And her authority superseded Bhumi's. So he wanted to keep everything completely authorized. So Satyabhama and Krishna on Garuda, how to get through this fort. Krishna, he took his various weapons, and first with some bows and arrows, he just completely pulverized these mountainous boulders that were surrounding the fort. And then with his Sudarshan chakra, he started drying up all this big watery. And then with other weapons, he was destroying all the electrical circuitry that would electrocute people. Now, as he was causing this great commotion, Krishna, in transcendental ecstasy, blew on his conch shell. And when he blew on his conch shell, he woke up the demon Mura, who was sleeping underwater in one of the moats. And he was the ultimate guard. It's like we have our guards. But Mura was a guard. He had 5 heads. He was a terrible demon with supernatural powers. And he was sleeping underwater. And when he heard Krishna's conch shell, just like the conch shell is supposed to wake us up in the morning, yes? And it's supposed to illuminate our demoniac tendencies too and fill us with auspiciousness. So Mura just emerged from the moat, this gigantic, mountainous demon with 5 heads. And he saw Krishna and started screaming. The entire universe was terrorized by his screaming. It was just in all directions. It was impossible to bear the sound of his screaming. And he picked up a spear, a trident, and hurled the trident at Garuda. But Krishna, with an arrow, he eliminated that trident. And then Mura, even more angry, he picked up a huge club and hurled the club at Krishna and Garuda. And Krishna annihilated the club. Now, 5-headed Mura was outraged. He was incensed beyond his control. Just the personification of wrath. He leaped toward Krishna to fight him. Krishna effortlessly took his Sudarshan chakra and severed all the 5 heads of Mura. And he fell into the water, dead. Hare Krishna. Then the sons of Mura, they attacked, because they were very angry. And they were Maharati warriors themselves. And Krishna, with his divine potencies, within moments, he delivered to the abode of death all the sons of Mura. Bhaumasura became very angry. He came out when he saw his main generals laying headless, dead, right before him. He personally appeared on a gigantic elephant. And he attacked with mass armies of thousands, tens, hundreds, and thousands of soldiers. And it was just Krishna and Satyabhama, still riding on Garudaji. And the soldiers were attacking. They were shooting so many weapons. And Krishna, very unique how he defeated these soldiers on this occasion. They threw the weapons. Krishna waited till they would throw their weapon. And while the weapon was in the air, Krishna would first kill the soldier. And then he would neutralize the weapon as it was coming toward him. And there was hundreds and thousands of soldiers simultaneously shooting weapons. And Krishna, with arrows, he was shooting arrows so fast that for all these hundreds and thousands of soldiers, simultaneously 3 arrows went to each soldier. Killed them. And after all the soldiers were dead, Krishna just started shooting weapons at all the arrows that were coming at him. And meanwhile, Garuda, he was just tormenting all the elephants. In this way, in a matter of just a short time, the entire army of Bhaumasura was laying on the ground, lifeless. Bhaumasura was furious, and he attacked Krishna. It was a very good battle. He was a very powerful personality. And Bhaumasura, screaming in rage when he attacked Krishna, Krishna with his Sudarshan chakra severed his head. When Bhaumasura was killed, the demigods were showering flowers on Krishna. The sages and rishis were singing prayers to Krishna. This Bhaumasura was such a menacing terrorist. Then Krishna went into the palace of Bhoma. Unbelievable opulence. Because he was conquering all directions, and wherever he conquered, he stole all the wealth. There was just amazing wealth and luxury in these palaces. And then coming before Krishna was 16,100 beautiful princesses. Because wherever Bhaumasura attacked, he would kidnap. After defeating, he would kidnap any beautiful young maiden that happened to be there. There was the daughters of kings, the daughters of sages and rishis, the daughters of demigods. Each one was so sweet in disposition, so beautiful, and so totally helpless. They were captive prisoners of Bhaumasura. When Krishna entered into the palace, each of these princesses looked at Krishna. And they didn't say anything, but in their hearts, they fell in love with Krishna. They were so attracted by his beauty, by his heroism, by his compassion. Each one of these princesses simultaneously gave their hearts and souls to Krishna and longed to be his wife. Now Krishna, who is the Paramatma, the Lord within the heart of every living being, understood the thoughts of the princesses. So with the great opulences of Bhaumasura, he decorated each of them with beautiful garments and jewels. And then in a royal procession, he sent all 16,100 princesses to Dwarka. They all went to Dwarka. And at that time, Bhumi, the mother of Bhaumasura, she came before Krishna with the earrings of Aditi, the umbrella of Varuna, and passageway again to the Mandara mountain peak. And she delivered it to Krishna. The things that her son had stolen. And she asked for a benediction that Bhaumasura's son was very fearful. His father was just killed right in front of his eyes, and all of his father's wealth was gone, and all of his armies, everything. Everything that his father stood for was eliminated from the earth. She said, my grandson's name is Bhagadatta. Please give him your mercy. So Krishna gave mercy. And then Krishna, out of his love for his devotee, Indra, he and Satyabhama, riding on Garudaji, went all the way to Swargaloka to deliver Indra's mother's earrings. Hare Krishna. What a wonderful personality is Krishna. He fights this gigantic war, amazing battle, single-handedly on the request of Indra. And then he doesn't go to Dwarka, he goes all the way to Indraloka to deliver the umbrella and the earrings. And Indra was so happy, he was so grateful. He bowed down and offered prayers to Krishna and gave the earrings back to his mother, and she was very happy. While they were there, Satyabhama happened to see the Parijata tree. And previously, Krishna gave a Parijata flower from that tree to Rukmini. And Satyabhama expressed to Krishna, please give me the tree, not flower, tree. Because the tree is the source of so many flowers. And let us take this tree back to Dwarka where I can plant it in my palace. And Prabhupada describes that Krishna, out of his love for his devotee, took the role of a hen-pecked husband and said, yes, I will take this tree for you. And Krishna took the Parijata tree. Now Indra, who was just offering prayers to Krishna a few minutes before, he lost control of his mind. He's taken my Parijata tree. What right does he have to take my Parijata tree? So Indra attacked Krishna for battle with his armies to get the Parijata tree back. And Krishna effortlessly defeated him. Now our acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and others, they explain, just see the mentality. Demigods are devotees, but they have material attachments. They're attached to sense gratification, they're attached to wealth, and they're attached to prestige and power. Although they're using all these things semi in Krishna's service and semi in their own service. This is called a Karma Mishra Bhakta. Karma Mishra Bhakta is a devotee who's serving Krishna but also has ulterior motives. We want to get sense gratification from our service. Dharmasya hyapavaragyasya. The Bhagavatam warns us that when you're serving Krishna and Krishna gives you facilities, do not think that those facilities are for yourself. They're for the purpose of service. Because as soon as we think this is mine to enjoy, we become entangled with false ego. So Indra, he was in this state. He was a Karma Mishra Bhakta. He was serving the Lord. He was a devotee of the Lord. In fact, the scriptures tell us that in Swargaloka, when he performs yajna, Vishnu personally appears to him. That's an exalted position. Vishnu personally comes and appears to accept the offerings of Indra. Not many devotees can claim that. But still, he was infatuated by all the wealth and opulences and power, because he was the king of the demigods. Very high position. We cannot be attached to position. If you become attached to position, your heart becomes corrupted. Because we only have one position. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayora Dasa Dasa Das Anudas. Our eternal position is to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarva Lokamaheshwaram. Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Prakrite kriyamanani gunakarmani sarvasha. And we should never think ourselves to be the doers of our activities. Because Krishna, either directly, indirectly, through material nature, Krishna is empowering us to do everything. We have no capacity to see, to think, to smell, to touch. We have no capacity to move without being empowered by Krishna. In this material world, we're being empowered through his material nature. So Krishna is the ultimate doer. Why should we take credit for anything? Why should we be attached to any position thinking that I'm the enjoyer or the proprietor? This is illusion. Janasya moho yamaham mameti. This is the basic principle of material bondage. That I am this body, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, and whatever is in relation to the body is mine. One in knowledge never takes credit for any good things that they do, but give all credit to Krishna. I'm just the instrument, that's all. That's all I ever was, and that's all I ever could be. I'm either an instrument of Maya, doing things that are putting me in bondage, or I'm an instrument of Krishna, helping others. But I'm always just an instrument. That is our choice. Do we want to be an instrument of Maya, the external illusory energy, or do we want to be an instrument of Krishna?